A good idea and some illustrations are not enough. I know many believe a picture book needs two things, a good idea and some illustrations. And I understand why. Picture books look simple, short text, bright pictures, done. But today I want to talk to you about what it actually takes to write a book worth putting out into the world in this difficult time. Three things. And the third one is the one that no machine can ever fake. So fair warning, I'm going to be a bit more opinionated than usual today. In the previous video, I went over three forces reshaping the world of children's books: screens, children's mental health, and AI flooding the market with noise. This week is about what we do about it. Here's the thing about that idea plus pictures belief. It's part of what has already made the sausage factory possible. If a book is just an idea plus pictures, well, a machine can do it in 2 prompts. A publisher can churn out 10 books a day. A person with no writing experience, no illustration knowledge, no real reason to write can slap something together and upload it to Amazon before lunch. But that belief is also the reason so many well-intentioned books written by real people with real stories, never connect with kids. Recently, a mentor of mine asked me what upsets me the most in the children's book industry. I started with AI quite vehemently, but it really goes back further than that. Even before AI and still today, there were authors putting out the quickest, cheapest, lowest quality books they could manage, and illustration companies paying their illustrators extremely low wages to churn out as many books as possible, as fast as possible. So I call this the sausage factory. AI is the sausage factory on steroids. Both upset me thoroughly because children deserve so much better. Picture books are not products to be mass-produced at the lowest possible cost to make a quick buck. They never were. A book that truly connects requires 3 things that no machine can replicate, and none of the sausage factories bother with any of these. Number 1 is connection to your reader. Know who you are writing for. Not some general idea, but a real, specific person in your mind. What does this child need or enjoy? Why would they enjoy your book? I see so many books that are written for the author, not for the child. The author loves the idea, or they've told the story at dinner parties and everybody laughed, but it doesn't resonate with kids. It wasn't written with a specific reader in mind, and even if you write it for the child that you were, that is still a real child. And I can tell you, AI has no reader in mind. It has a prompt. The sausage factory has a quota to fill. Neither of them have stopped to ask, what does this specific child actually need? That question has to be the starting point, and everything else follows it. Connection 2 is to your craft. Picture books have invisible rules that most people don't know exist. Page turns, the relationship between the text and the image, what words must do and what the illustrations must do, because they both have an indispensable role. Word count, pacing that holds a child's attention. So I say this often, the illustrator is the co-creator. A traditional publisher pays the illustrator 50% of royalties. 50%. That tells you everything about how seriously the industry takes the visual half of a picture book. And yet, I still see people in this space in the present that treat illustrations as if they're an afterthought, that you sort of think of after the real work is done, right? To be fair, at least some of them do take the writing very seriously, which is good, but that is still not how picture books work. I come from an illustration background. I've illustrated books. I run an illustration company, and I've produced hundreds of books. I know every detail about bleed and trim and gutter and how the characters need to move through a story, and why an AI image generator cannot truly tell a story because it doesn't know the story. It just creates separate images. AI has no understanding of what the book is really trying to do. Getting the craft wrong is why so many books with good intentions still fall flat. Not because the author didn't care or put care into the book, but because they didn't know what they didn't know. I saw a comment recently on Facebook that I had to respond to. Someone posted that AI illustrations were fine with her, and she didn't know why everybody made a big deal about wanting to know if the illustrator was using AI. Firstly, to me, it was shocking that she didn't understand why one would want to know if your illustrator is doing real illustrations when you're paying them, if they're doing it by hand or being dishonest and just prompting AI illustrations, which can't even be copyrighted in many countries. She also said that AI was basically just the same as using Photoshop, which illustrators have been using for years. Now, as an illustrator who used Photoshop for years, and now I use Procreate, I can tell you that sitting and drawing an illustration for many, many hours in Photoshop or Procreate after practicing for many years to be able to draw is not comparable in any way to typing a prompt into AI and having an illustration 1 minute later. I've written enough articles on my thoughts of using AI for books, and you're welcome to go check them out. The links are in the description. But in short, a human illustrator puts human thought and human heart into illustrations. AI just puts pixels on a screen to match a prompt. What struck me was her confidence with which she stated this post when she clearly didn't have a good understanding of what she was saying. And she also responded that she has bought bad books with AI, but she could just make up her own story every time she read from it. So it wasn't a waste of a book. Now, I understand what she's saying, but I was completely mystified, to be honest, because a book that's so bad that you have to make up your own story is clearly not what we want to put out into the world. Another post I recently saw on Instagram absolutely nailed it for me. The author said she didn't understand why people use AI to write their book. And she said, if you don't like writing or you're not good at it, then don't be an author. Great picture books take learning and practice and work. It's a true art. And learning it and creating something outstanding is an accomplishment to be proud of for the rest of your life. This comes from knowing your craft. And this is exactly why I started my illustration company. If you want illustrations for your book that are beautiful and affordable and 100% hand-drawn by human illustrators, then that's what we do at Get Your Book Illustrations. The link for that is in the description. All right, and that brings us to connection number 3, which is a connection to yourself. And this is one that no machine can fake, ever. The material has to come from inside of you, from a real experience, a real reason, something that happened or something you see in the world, and you want to share it with children for a real reason in your heart. My coaching members are some beautiful examples. Terry Lynn Burney, a woman with cerebral palsy, who is sharing fictional stories of her experiences or experiences that she's lived so that children with cerebral palsy know that there are books out there for them, and other kids can learn that they're just awesome like the rest of us. They're awesome people too. And Nicole Todd Bailey, a mother who adopted children of different races and has seen their challenges and wrote a book to help others in that same position and to raise awareness. And the list goes on. As a note, writing a laugh out loud book can be just as valuable, I have to mention. So that is why people write picture books, not to make money. If you just want to make money, don't create picture books. It is not the best way to make money. Write picture books because you have something to say that you need to share with children. In Return to Real by Ryan Levesque, which is coming out very soon and well worth a read, he says, what is deeply personal becomes deeply universal. Reading this really made me think. It is beautiful and it's true. The more specific your story is, the more personal, the more it's for one child, one moment, the more your reader will be able to connect it to their own life. AI is intrinsically incapable of this. It has no life, no experience, no grief, no joy, no memory of being a lonely kid who found a book that made them feel less alone. A while ago, I got an email from someone I respect promoting AI generated illustrations, and it absolutely made me cringe. Not because it competes with my business, but because it's not good enough and it's not honoring what we're actually doing here, which is creating something for the future generation. You put out a book because you have something real to say. So here is what happens when all three of these come together. When you know your reader, when you understand your craft, and when the book comes from something real inside you. The result is a book that connects. That's the solution to the three forces I spoke about in the previous video. In a world where children are increasingly disconnected from their parents, their own imaginations, nature, quiet time, and tangible experiences, and the beneficial effect that a good book provides, a book that truly connects with them, is more important than ever. It is exactly what the world needs right now. So let's create it. Over to you. Of the three connections, which one do you feel that you do well right now? Are there one of these that you need to work on? Tell me in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And in the next video, I want to tell you something more personal. I want to share why all roads in my life led me to this work and this belief that good children's books matter more than ever. I'm a bit nervous about sharing my story, but I've realized it's important. So if you want to hear it, subscribe so you don't miss it. And if you're not already getting the KidLit Creators Chronicle, my free guide for children's book authors in your inbox, the link to sign up is in the description below.